Alrighty, so we've made it. You've made it. We've done it together. We're at chapter 10. This chapter is the last chapter of the spiritual section for the Great Experiment. Chapter 10 is the best is yet to come. Because it's true. The best is absolutely yet to come. And here's why. The culmination of experiences that you have gone through and you have experienced and learned from and capitalized on and fell in love with or reminisced or whatever it may be, have learned from, have shaped your awareness to be a lot more profound and whole as you've ever thought it could be. And this will continue to occur for eternity until you have came into union with yourself. And I will say that the paradoxical thing that is part of this life on how it works is that we think that it is the things that we accumulate or add or go through or experiences, which is absolutely true, and we learn from these experiences in life. But at the same time, it's also the opposite. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that it's also the ability to strip away the things that we think are us, which actually are not. It is the personality of who we believe this character is that we role play. And what I mean by that is that this character didn't arrive or derive from an authentic place. It was actually molded through a perceived agreement of people, of man's laws, man's ways, who aim to carve out how reality should be acted on and ruled upon on and taxed on and set in the ways. But at the same time, because this dialectic exists, there has been a lot of awareness to this, and this has actually allowed the so-called matrix of laws, of rules, of regulations, of courts, of scholarly things, what we believe to be important or we may or may not be important, depending on what type of industry we work in as well. But when you zoom out of all that stuff, when you strip away all that stuff, you're still very much out of control to what is really happening, which is on the subatomic level. And if you again strip away man's laws, you're left with something that was already whole and complete to begin with. And that's where the paradox occurs. So you learn from your experiences, but at the same time, you have to also see that you are always one and you are always there. So you go through all of these experiences into infinity, which you reach, 1,000,000% of knowledge, right? As Tai Lopez says, and some people say, Warren Buffett. But at the same time, when you strip away all of what you think actually was, you're left with what was always there to begin with. So in order to find the needle, you just burn away all the hay, and like that, you're left with first principle thinking. you have 1,000,000% knowledge. Let's simplify 1,000,000%. Take away all the zeros. It's a one. It's complete, right? It's completed. It's 1,000,000% divided by let's just call it one. It's completion, right? Because you can't, like, you are one with everything, so you know everything. Okay. But then in a way you strip away all of man's laws and you're left with zero with what you were already to start with, which is zero. So God is the one and the zero. God is the number 10. That's the paradox. That's the first thing. This is, high wisdom that we are going to now start using in everything, right? Health, wealth, love, happiness, relationships, businesses, whatever it may be. So, Saturn's matrix, okay? So what is Saturn's matrix? Saturn's matrix it's a plane, okay? So, it's a plane of existence in the universe, right? So we're ascending to planes. Why did we descend into the physical realm? Well, we descended into the physical realm because we wanted to know what it was like to know God from a point of reference. And we wanted to be led, right? So that's essentially the wholeness, the completeness, but we also wanted to experience everything. So that's the one. So we wanted to always be, in essence, always at the very core, at the very start, at the zero. We wanted to be in completion, right? The whole. But we also wanted to go through all of those experiences and become the one. So it's like, look at the decimal point. Like, it's like, you could even go 0.0000000000001 and then start taking away those zeros, and then the one gets closer to the decimal point, it becomes a one. So I'm kind of a numbers guy, by the way. Basically, we wanted to experience everything, but we also wanted to know that no matter what happened, we were going to be led the right way. Okay? And this brings all different types of frequencies and emotions and experiences and feelings and energies, right? So, and it's all part of the one. But going back to Saturn's matrix, Saturn is, planets. These are forces of energy. These are entities of energy. Okay? At the end of the day, everything's an entity of energy. We are an entity of energy. We are a viewpoint of, point of view of oneness. And I'll explain. So, it's a plane of oneness. So Saturn's matrix Saturn has been created as this architect type to formulate this, right? The Saturn, this force on this plane, right? Because nothing is essentially physical. Nothing is essentially solid. So let's call it what it is. So Saturn is a force of it's just this thought kingdom. It's another thought kingdom. It's at its most essential structure, or elementary structure. But it has figured out a way to manipulate this plane into this plane of energy into a physical form. So it dominates this physical form, but it dominates it in a way that is structured to keep you here because it receives an energy from you. And unfortunately, a lot of the energy on this plane isn't above that table in a few videos. You want to start essentially at a neutral level, and you always want to be at a frequency of joy, because joyful frequency will bring joyful things, and vice versa for the opposite. So you always want to be at least at above a 6.5, 7, right? Like, essentially, um, the the Saturn's matrix level playing field of frequency isn't at a 6.5 or I would say it's probably at even a negative, subpar, right? So that's just the frequency level, like compared to the higher ascension frequencies, right? At the same time, there's this trade-off because this agreement was that we would descend into this lower frequency world, that is manipulating everything to what we perceive to be physical through the 5 elements. So it's doing it at a frequency, right? So it's like, let's say this light was coming in from this window right here, and then I had a glass of water, and then that light would hit the water, and then the water would bend, and then like everything from this paradigm just is fragmented. So it's like it's just fragmented to what. So everything coming in from this light of source is fragmented through this film. No pun intended with Hollywood, right? But it's fragmented to fragment reality to what it wants it to be. And then that light in this glass of water, right, which is transparent, which you can see through, it's very clear. Just like, we wouldn't be able to tell that there's a film on this reality. Like, it's so advanced that we would essentially be one with it. This light that's coming through is hitting this water, and it's slicing the light. It's fragmenting the light to make everything in this world of water, this like lower density world, to appear that way when it's really not. Because our job is to ascend out of this plane and continue to where we came from, because we're electromagnetic, meaning we were created by source. We need to return to source because, I don't know, like, why does electricity need to return back to source? It just does. I don't know. It just needs to be grounded. It's just the way it is. It's just returning back to source. So God wants us to return back to source. I mean, wouldn't you want your offspring to return back to you? I guess. It's like, why? You know what I mean? Some things are just so innate and part of us that they don't necessarily just necessitate a meaning or a explanation. But so the water, the light is fragmented by the water. Okay, so this we are electromagnetic electricity. We turn things on. So it's like we are the bulb of this electric current that's flowing through us. Literally, it's flowing through us too, right? So all of this electricity is flowing right now. But this light bulb, just like light, the vacuum that we've created, that is controlled by these 5 elements that are everything is 5 elements. So everything that you see are these 5 elements to their basic essential, this frequency pattern. And this frequency pattern is run by this plane in this universe. And it's really all electromagnetic. So it's like, let's say I'm turning a radio, it's a new radio. So it's like all of this movement that's going on is like static. It's not like, essentially it's not solid. It looks solid, it feels solid, whatever, but the eyes are deceiving. Reality is deceiving. This world is deceiving. And there's a lot of biblical references to that where, the Bible says that the devil has walked the earth several times. He has traced back and forth several times. And what that means is that when you compare that to God, God doesn't need to travel anywhere from any other point because God is omnipotent. So, and omnipresent and omniscient. So, It is everything that has consciousness. And everything that is a reflection of that is just a mirage. But it is a deception that's just manifested. It's like a fear that's created. And isn't that interesting? Because what we're going to get into in the next couple of videos is overcoming this fear, this false evidence of appearing real. Because it is not whether it exists or doesn't exist, whatever ideas or concepts you may have about a situation, or maybe this person thinks of me this way, or maybe right there I'm going to stop you, because does it really matter what the other person thinks of you? Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, maybe, but what's more powerful is what you think the other person thinks of you. So I just flipped it. So I created this box, and then I cut the electrical circuit from your thought kingdom. Just a thought, okay? A thought, right? Because everything's infinite, so everything already essentially exists. Because we're going backwards, like almost. So it's like, the good news is that you've already won. If you accepted a God consciousness, Jesus Christ consciousness, you have won. Why? Because you're being led. Okay, so you accept to go back to source. You're being led back by source. Source is the alpha, the omega. They know the fastest, most pleasurable, most exciting, most unified, loving way back to source. So go with the flow. Choosing to go back in this pathway that has already been walked, this carved out, this pathway has already been walked by you. It's been walked by you. So that's a win-win. The illusion, the world may entice you. It may tempt you many times to go this way or go this way, or that you're not deserving, or this person, you may not get the approval of this person, or the money, or you may not know how to do a certain skill set, or whatever it may be. Those are just temptations, because if you have a gut instinct and a feeling to pursue that, pockets of fear that you have within you, and I'm not talking about the chakras, because the chakras are one thing. So I'm talking about pockets of fear, right? I'm talking about thought kingdoms. I'm talking about the director of your movie, because everything initiates from a thought kingdom. Everything. And when I mean everything, I'm talking every single thing. Even chakras, because someone had to create chakras, right? Someone had to create the creation. So the proof is in the pudding. Creation is proof of a creator. The level of creating is where you need to be at. You need to be at the same level of the creator. You need to be the creator in your movie. You need to be the director in your movie. So you need to drop the world. And that is the highest wisdom that I can give you. It means you need to stop believing what your eyes are seeing, especially in the media. But I'm not talking about the media. I'm talking about this level plane, right? I'm talking about Saturn's matrix. Just like Neo, when he escaped the matrix, you can escape the matrix too. Seriously. So, with this world that we live in, which can be very beautiful, it can be very gorgeous, it can be appealing, attractive, it is controlled by Saturn's matrix. It is controlled by this force, right? Saturn, the planet, that is just controlling these frequencies of these 5 elements. And as crazy and bogus and whatever Looney Tunes that sounds, it's absolutely reality. It is the... It is... the world changes when you change the way you look at the world. Wayne Dyer, right? So anything for that matter. So it's time to break the reality down for you. So we're gonna do an exercise of how to drop the world. First, I just want to make sure that you can see me, because I sometimes think when I'm recording these things, I try to assimilate, and I try to not just with the camera, but with what I'm explaining to you. I'm trying to assimilate, not with the camera, but with what I'm explaining to you right now, of why I can even see myself, or how you can even see yourself. Right? Because it's like, if this world wasn't here, if we wanted to drop the world, right? If we wanted to drop the world, let's drop the world. So, but going back to the whole camera thing, isn't that interesting? I ask, not just by shooting this camera, because I know it's recording and the things are set, right? But I'm talking about the actual essence of this camera recording me. But how is it that you can see this camera? Right? Does that make sense? Like how? Right? Because we just said everything is... there's nothing physical. Right? So if there's nothing physical right now, I mean, does that make sense? It's like, how can you see me right now? How can you see me right now? Like this camera, but this camera is not your eyeball. This camera is separate from you, because this camera, right, is going to be like, these thoughts that I'm having are being recorded into this camera, and it's being uploaded into this SD card, right? That's how it works. And then I put the SD card in the computer, and then it goes up to YouTube. But YouTube is just the website that is on the server. But then the server... So I'm just... one second, I'm trying to figure this out here. This is interesting. So the server... So this video is being recorded, and it's being sent to here, but the actual video is not the same form as the idea that I have in my head right now that's being recorded on this camera. It's a different form, because now it's on YouTube, it's not on my camera, but it's still being to be seen, because you have the eyesight to see it, right? Because essentially your eyes are connected to your brain, which is, where the nervous system is, but because nothing's solid, your atoms never actually touch. Your electrons never actually touch. Wait a minute. How is it that things can form out of nothing? How is it that cancers can be created but at the same time dissipated? How is it that you're able to see me if we actually never touch? None of the atoms or the electrons or neutrons of this video, or you looking at this camera, or you even seeing me, what you believe to see me through this camera, through this video, your eyeballs don't even touch your freaking brain. How do you even see me if your eyeballs don't even touch your brain? Nothing touches anything, so how can you see me? Drop the world. You can see me because the physical world isn't actually here. You need to drop the world. The physical world is not even here. You're just an extension of me. There is one mind right now, but by dropping the world, you instantaneously, you have to pretend like it's not there. You instantaneously become part of the one. You drop everything that you see, that you hear, that you smell, that you taste, that you touch. You drop your 5 senses. You drop the pentagon. Just like the government. Government means governed mind in Latin. You drop the governing mind. You drop the mind of this world. You drop the human mind. You drop the one, you become the zero. You drop the world, you become complete, you become holy. So try it. When you drop the world loses charge. You unplug. You drop all of your worries, all of your concerns. You drop everything and you become one. And just like God feeds the birds, and just like all of the animals, God will guide you when you plug into that source. So you take your electric attention, your outlet, and you plug it into source, and you ground yourself. Because when you drop the world, this may happen, this temptation may happen, this illusion, this concern, this judgment of law or someone else. Someone else may think this person, what do you think that person thinks of you? That's the most important thing. What you think that person thinks of you is more important of what that person actually thinks of you. But the point is that, and that's with anything, if you think this deal is going to work, if you think this opportunity is going to work, it will work. Because Jesus Christ conquered the world, consciousness, awareness, the ability to be part of source is the puppet master. It is the real puppet master. Right? Because what you're doing is you are becoming on the same level playing field as we spoke about. You are the director, but you are dropping all of the elements. And when you drop the elements, you're able to see and feel and know that you're one with the wave. You're one with the current. And you have to trust, and you have to drop the world. And when you're able to drop the world, you are grounded and you are one with creation. And all you have to do is believe that what you ask is actually manifesting now by dropping the world. Because what you see isn't even there. Because it's being changed. That house can be demolished. That building can be created. That park can be created. But before, there was no park there. It was just an idea. This video can be made. It's just an idea. Stephen Miller was just an idea before a man and a woman got married. It's just an idea. Stay at that point right there. You're dropping the world. I can feel it. Everything is just an idea. This bed is just an idea. That song is just an idea. That movie is just an idea. That politician is just an idea. This rule, this law is an idea agreed by some people. And stay still. And when you stay still and you align with that character you want to become and where you want to go to, you have plugged in to that source. And that electrical current is going to be circulating and recycling. And you are going to be shape-shifting. Like the shape-shifting lizard people. No comment. But the point is that you're shifting your health, your genes, your hair, your eyes, your eye color, your weight, your stature, your balance, your everything, your ideas, your money, your smile, your eyes. I said eyes. Everything can be changed. The ideas of other people can be the ideas of other people. Just keep the positive idea, or the idea that you want to have of others in a positive way. And vice versa, it will reciprocate to you. Or for anything. For things. But you are broadcasting. You're not even here. You get it? Do you really honestly get it? You're not even here. So with that, and I know I was a little intense there, but you're not even here. I hope this exercise helped you, because you need to be in the director's seat. When something is going on in your life, whether you feel like it's positive, you must understand that you need to ascend out of this matrix. And I know some good people who call it the Maya, the Gaia, Mother Gaia, the whatever. I mean, it is not here. It is not your place of origin. Even the most beautiful places on earth, it is not your place of origin. Your imagination, your blank slate, your cube, that is your place of origin. And when you accept this and you drop the world, you have gained everything and lost everything, and you have made union with your Creator. And have faith, because faith is one of the most, if not the most powerful, besides love, forces on this world. Because that is just igniting, that is turning up the volume, that is going to 1,000,000, going to 100 million% of that charge that you're getting from source. That's where your grounding is coming from. So that is the highest form of wisdom that I can give you. Be the person. Pretend to be the person. Don't even pretend. Be the person. Be the person who you want to be. But stop wanting. Just be the person. Be very particular in how you talk, because your speech has frequencies that reciprocate. Everything boomerangs. And push yourself to conquer fear, because it's not there, and it is your mission. We have decided to sit in this director's seat and call the shots, because what we're doing when we sit in this director's seat is we're calling the shots of how we want to feel and how we want to remain focused on what we see in here, which will change what we see out there. Because what we have in the spiritual world, right, when we drop the five senses, we're still alive. we still have electromagnetic power to control. We have freedom of thought. That freedom of thought is God consciousness. It's awareness of life, that we are creators. I just given you your biggest gift that you've ever received. You're welcome. So as a person of God consciousness, you now accept the role, and you may be tempted. You may be tempted by fear. So you have desires and dreams and goals on who you want to be, because you're growing and you're growing on this one, but you also need to understand that you need to drop the world in order to receive this. So it's a paradox, but it's a reflective paradox. It's weird. It's like anyways, yeah. So when you have things in your reality that are manifesting to scare you, don't be scared. Don't show fear. Just be faithful and persistent and enjoy the process. And go in the flow with things. Don't think about things all the time. When you want to think about things, think about them. Think about them and do things. Take action. Take risks. Be a person who's a risk taker. Every business that has ever been created that may have seemed impossible, that had risk, ended up being a massive treasure, a massive success, a massive win, a massive boost of life, right? Like, you are really living life when you take the risks, because you're looking at fear in the face. You're just like, you don't care. You're going like, whatever. So when you're doing this, then it becomes fun. And do as much as you can. Work as much as possible. Be that person as much as you can. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. Know that when you are thinking of other things, of other ideas, practicing other ways of thinking, right? So whatever's trending on this or trending on this or whatever, or this is how you have to text someone. It's like, sometimes in society we have seen this synthetic form of communication, as opposed to more of a artistic, old-fashioned courting way type of communication. So unplug of the matrix, because that's the world's mind, which is empty. It's void. It's deceptive. It's walking back and forth, looking. It's an energy. It's an energy that's looking back and forth. It could host itself. It could just linger and then kind of just go to someone else. It's a deception. It's a shadow. That's all it is. It's darkness. So shine light on that and let it flee. When you shine light, before you decide to shine light, if you decide to shine light, which I recommend you do, then know that it is more on the trust side, and persistence, and good character side, and the side of who your authentic self is, dropping everything that's not that, even if you can't see the future. Because you're supposed to have faith. You're not supposed to try to predict everything. Be persistent, have faith in things. Be yourself in your way that you can offer the world yourself as a gift. Be that person. Okay? Imagination is everything. So instead of being guided and being swayed by the world mind, the trends on YouTube or the trends on social media, the trends in Hollywood. And I'm not implying anything, by the way. I'm just saying, for real, like, be honest with yourself. Follow your gut, follow your intuition, follow your desires, follow your most highest path of excitement. But at the same time, be grounded. It is all imagination, it is all thought, and it is your interpretation of these things, right? So what would a very charismatic person do? I don't know. My definition is different from this person's definition, but that's the uniqueness of that, the different flavor, or the different the different types, styles, is what brings of that positive character, is what brings life to life. So sharpen the imagination, and wear the garments, wear the appropriate garments, which is the teachings. And when you're on that pathway, you have made union. You have made union with your Creator, and you're bringing your most authentic self, because you are now the director. You are the artiste. You are the shaper, and you are chiseling your version of your best self that will bring a lot of joy and further development to the world, to this plane. Alrighty. Thank you guys for joining me. You have graduated. The next 2 courses will be based on more of the business stuff. And review these videos, I would say 10 times each. And it will then be engraved in your neural pathways, and you will start to automatically think that way. And I promise you that you will be a better version of yourself that you can thank yourself for.